Here are the group members: Casey Ann Emeterio, Victor Angelo Castro, Lester Franco, Aaron John De Vera, Jen Anthony Tabajen, Reyna Lindul Dulao, and Aaron Bravo.
So good day po! Ngayon, pag-uusapan natin ang geothermal energy, isa sa pinaka-reliable at sustainable na renewable energy sa mundo. Ang salitang geothermal ay galing sa geo, na ang ibig sabihin ay earth, at thermal na ang ibig sabihin ay heat. So literally, geothermal energy means heat from earth. Sa ilalim ng ating planeta, sobrang taas ng temperature dahil sa magma at natural heat na naipon sa loob ng bilyon-bilyong taon. Ang init na ito ay pwede nating gamitin para makagawa ng kuryente at para sa heating purposes. So, paano nga ba ito gumagana? Ang working principle ng geothermal power plant ay halos kapareho ng ibang thermal power plants. Pero ang pinagkaiba ay hindi ito nagsusunog ng coal o fuel. Una, nagdi-drill ng malalim na balon papunta sa geothermal reservoir, kung saan may mainit na tubig or steam. Second, ang high-pressure steam ay umaakyat papunta sa ibabaw at dinadala sa turbine. Pangatlo, pinapaikot ng steam ang turbine blades at ang turbine ay konektado sa generator na gumagawa naman ng electricity. Pagkatapos, ang steam ay pinalalamig dahil tubig ulit at ini-inject pabalik sa ilalim ng lupa para ma-reheat. Kaya tuloy-tuloy ang cycle. So, heat from earth, steam, then to turbine, then the generator, then electricity at ibabalik ito sa lupa. Now, let's add more information, like fun facts. So first, alam nyo ba na ang geothermal energy is one of the oldest forms of energy used by humans? Even ancient Romans used hot springs for bathing and heating. Then second, may mga lugar sa mundo na literal na may natural geysers na kusang naglalabas ng mainit na tubig at steam mula sa lupa. Proof kung gaano kalakas ang natural heat ng Earth. Third, geothermal power plants have one of the highest capacity factors among renewable energy sources. Meaning, mas consistent ang power output nila compared sa solar at wind. So here's another fun fact. Sa Pilipinas tayo. Ang Pilipinas ay isa sa top geothermal producers sa buong mundo. Dahil nasa Pacific Ring of Fire tayo, kaya maraming volcanoes and geothermal reservoir. Isa pang fun fact. Sa Iceland, ginagamit nila ang geothermal energy hindi lang sa electricity, kundi pati na rin sa greenhouse gases. And kahit sa sidewalks para matunaw ang snow. Like imagine, naglalakad ka sa daan na pinapainit ng lupa. So, in conclusion, ang geothermal energy ay isang malinis, sustainable at reliable na source ng kuryente na gumagamit ng natural heat mula sa loob ng Earth. Ito ang patunay na ang kalikasan mismo ay may kayang magbigay ng long-term solution sa ating energy needs.
Now in this part of our discussion, I will present the largest geothermal power plants in the world and the top geothermal countries based on installed capacity. These data are based on global rankings around 2018 measured in megawatts or MW. As shown in the image, the largest geothermal power plant in the world is the Geysers from United States with 1,205 megawatts capacity. It is followed by Larderello in Italy with 769 megawatts, Cerro Prieto in Mexico with 720 megawatts, Macban from Philippines with 458 megawatts, Ganong Salak from Indonesia, Salton Sea from United States as well, Kizilderel from Turkey or Kizildir from Turkey, and Sarulia from Indonesia. We also have Helish Heidi from Iceland and Tiwi from Philippines again. As we can observe here, the geothermal development is concentrated in tectonically active regions, especially countries located along the Ring of Fire, including the Philippines, Indonesia, and United States. The dominance of the geysers show how large-scale geothermal capacity or exploitation can significantly contribute to the national energy supply. This is the Geysers Geothermal Complex located in California, United States. It is currently the largest geothermal power plant complex in the world with a total installed capacity of about 1,205 megawatts. The Geysers is not just a single plant but a group of geothermal power stations operating in one geothermal field. It uses dry steam technology where steam from underground reservoir directly drives turbine connected to the generation. And because of the massive capacity, the geysers supply electricity of hundreds of thousands of homes in California, significantly reducing reliance on fossil fuels. Its success proves that geothermal energy can operate at utility scale and serve as a reliable baseload power source. And now this is the Makiling-Banahaw Geothermal Power Plant, commonly known as Macbang. Located in Laguna and Batangas in the Philippines, Macban has an installed capacity of approximately 458 megawatts, making it one of the largest geothermal power plants in the Southeast Asia. It plays a major role in supporting Luzon's power grid. The plant taps geothermal energy from the Mount Makiling and Mount Banahaw geothermal fields. Macban demonstrates how Philippines, being part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, can utilize its volcanic activity as a renewable energy advantage. It strengthens the country's energy security and reduces dependence on imported fossil fuels. Now then, taking a look at the geothermal energy from a national perspective, based on installed capacity as of December 2018, the top geothermal countries are 1. United States at 3,591 megawatts, Indonesia at number 2 at 1,948 megawatts, then third place is actually Philippines at 1,868 megawatts, very close to the megawatt capacity of Indonesia. And fourth, we have Turkey at 1,200 megawatts, New Zealand at 1,005 megawatts, Mexico at 951 megawatts, Italy at 944 megawatts, Iceland at 755 megawatts, Kenya at 676 megawatts, Japan at 542 megawatts. From this ranking, we can see that the United States leads globally. However, what is impressive is that the Philippines rank is third in the world. Despite being a developing country, the Philippines has maximized its geothermal resources and became one of the global leaders in geothermal power generation. Countries that exceed 1,000 megawatts are sometimes referred to as members of the 1 gigawatt country club. This ranking highlights that geothermal energy is not a minor renewable source. It is a significant contributor to the national energy system in technicality of active regions, in tectonically active regions. Cut mo yung, cut mo yung dulo na yan. This ranking highlights that geothermal energy is not just a minor renewable source, it is a significant contributor to national energy systems in tectonically active regions.
We are looking at the ideal location for a geothermal power plants. To effectively harness geothermal energy, we have to pinpoint exactly where this energy is most accessible. The most active geothermal resources are usually found along major tectonic plates boundaries. This makes sense because these boundaries are the exact same areas where the most of the world's volcanoes are located. A perfect example of this is a ring of fire. This is one of the most active geothermal areas in the world, and it forms massive geographic boundary that completely encircles the Pacific Ocean. The hydrothermal process. Now let us talk about what physically happens under the ground in these highly active areas. The process starts when the extremely hot magma comes near the Earth's surface. As this magma rises, it acts like a giant underground furnace. It naturally heats up the underground water that is trapped nearby in the porous rock. It also heats the water that is running along fractured rock surface and deep faults in the earth. When this happens, it creates what we call hydrothermal features. This concept is very easy to remember because hydrothermal features have two common, essential ingredients. You must have water, which is hydro part, and you must have heat, which is the thermal part. The biggest challenge with geothermal energy is actually finding it. These geothermal reservoirs are located very deep underground. Because of this extreme depth, they are largely completely undetectable above ground. You cannot just look at the surface and know a reservoir is down there, because they are hidden. Geologists use various scientific methods to try to find these geothermal reservoirs. However, despite all the different methods available, physically drilling a well and testing the temperature deep underground is the single most reliable method for locating geothermal reservoir. It is the only way to be absolute sure the heat is there. Even though the main reservoirs are hidden deep below us, the geothermal energy does naturally find its way to the Earth's surface. It generally escapes in three distinct ways. First, it escapes through volcanoes and fumaroles. Fumaroles are simply holes in the earth where hot volcanic gases are directly released into the air. Second, it reaches the surface through hot springs, where the heated water gently rises to form warm pools. And third, it escapes through geysers, where underground pressure shoots boiling water and steam straight out of the ground. By understanding these geographic locations and surface signs, we know exactly where to look to build our power plants.
Ang geothermal energy ay galing sa init na nanggagaling sa ilalim ng lupa. Parang may natural na heater ang Earth natin. So, sa ilalim ng lupa, may mga lugar na sobrang init dahil sa magma. Ang init na ito ay nagpapainit ng tubig at nagiging steam o singaw. Dito napapasok ang dry steam power plant. Ang dry steam power plant ang isa sa pinaka-common na type ng geothermal power plant. Actually, halos kalahati ng mga geothermal plants sa mundo ay ganito ang gamit. Paano nga ba ito gumagana? Una, may mga underground reservoir sa ilalim ng lupa kung saan may natural na mainit na steam. Hindi na kailangan pakuluan pa, ready na agad ng steam. Pangalawa, yung mainit na steam na galing sa ilalim ng lupa ay dinadaan sa mga tubo papunta sa turbine. Kapag tinamaan ng steam ang turbine, iikot ito. Parang electric fan na tinamaan ng malakas na hangin. Habang umiikot ang turbine, pinapaikot din ito ang generator. Ang generator ang nagko-convert ng mechanical energy papuntang electrical energy. So, after gamitin ang steam, ano nga ba ang mangyayari? Yung steam ay lalamig at magiging tubig ulit. Hindi siya sinasayang. Kaya ipapadala ito pabalik sa ilalim ng lupa gamit ang injection well. Bakit nga ba binabalik? So, para ma-reheat ulit ang natural heat ng Earth. So, parang cycle lang siya. So, ang steam ay umiikot sa turbine, balik sa tubig, tapos iikot ulit. Ang maganda sa dry steam power plant, renewable siya, mas konti ang pollution kumpara sa fossil fuels, continuous ang supply basta may geothermal source. So, sa madaling salita, ang dry steam power plant ay gumagamit ng natural na singaw mula sa ilalim ng lupa para mas paandarin ang turbine at gumawa ng kuryente. Tapos binabalik ulit ito sa tubig sa earth para magamit muli. Simple lang ang concept. So, sa init ng lupa, magiging singaw, so ikot ang turbine, produce ng kuryente. At yan ang working principle ng dry steam geothermal power plant. Sa picture, makikita natin ang setup ng isang dry steam power plant. Una, sa ilalim ng lupa, yung kulay brown at red na part, nandun ang may steam na galing sa geothermal source. Ipinapakita sa kaliwang side yung tubo na umaakyat mula sa ilalim ng lupa. Ibig sabihin, yung hot steam ay kinukuha mula sa underground. So, pag-akyat ng steam, dumadaan ito sa mga malaking puting structure. Sa loob nito ay ang turbine. Yung turbine ay ang parang malaking electric fan. Kapag tinamaan ito ng may steam, so dun siya iikot. Makikita sa larawan na nakakabit ang turbine sa isang generator. Yung parang kahon na may line sa loob. So, kapag umikot ang turbine, pinapaikot din ito yung generator. So, pag umikot na yung generator, dito na nagpo-produce ng electricity. So, sa kanang picture naman, makikita ang transmission tower o poste ng kuryente. Dito, dinadala ang kuryente papunta sa mga bahay, buildings at ibang consumers or ito yung tinatawag na distribution. So, sa ibang part ng image, makikita natin yung mga text na hot steam from underground is piped directly into turbine which powers the generator. Ibig sabihin, diretso ang steam mula sa ilalim ng lupa papunta sa turbine para paandarin ng generator. So, base sa picture, yung underground steam pupunta sa pipe, pupunta sa turbine, and then papaikutin ito generator, and then yung convert na electricity pupunta sa transmission lines, and then madidistribute na into electricity sa mga household or sa mga bahay-bahay. Ganun lang kasimple ang pinapakita ng image ng dry steam power plant. Sa image na ito, makikita natin ang mas detailed na flow ng dry steam power plant. So sa kaliwa, may production well or wellhead kung saan umaakit ang mainit na steam mula sa ilalim ng lupa. Yung red ang steam, yung kulay na red, yun yung galing ito sa geothermal reservoir sa ilalim ng underground surface. Pag-akit ng steam, dumadaan ito sa tubo pupunta sa turbine. So kapag tinamaan ng steam ang turbine, iikot ito. Yung turbine ay nakakabit sa generator at habang umiikot ang turbine, gumagawa ang generator ng electricity na ipinapadala sa transmission lines. Pagkatapos gamitin ang steam, pupunta ito sa condenser. Dito pinapalamig ang steam at nagiging tubig ulit. Yung tubig na iyon, which is yung kulay blue sa picture, ay ibinabalik sa ilalim ng lupa through another well na tinatawag na injection well or subsurface injection. So, simple lang din ang cycle based sa picture. So, steam from underground, papaikutin yung turbine, then sa generator, and then pupunta sa condenser, steam, into water naman. So, babalik yung water sa lupa. Isang continuous cycle siya para tuloy-tuloy ang production ng kuryente. Sa image nito, makikita natin ang buong proseso ng dry steam power plant from ilalim ng lupa hanggang sa pag-generate ng kuryente. So, sa pinakailalim, makikita ang hot rock o mainit na bahagi ng earth. Dahil sa sobrang init, nagkakaroon ng steam sa ilalim ng lupa. So, sa kaliwa, may production well. Dito umakit ang steam rising mula sa geothermal source papunta sa ibabaw. Pagdating sa ibabaw, ang steam ay dumadaan sa mga turbines. So, kapag tinamaan ang mainit na steam ang turbine, iikot ang mga ito. Ang turbines ay konektado sa generating facility kung saan makikita natin may generator na gumagawa ng electricity at pinapadala ito sa power lines. So, pagkatapos paandarin ng turbines, ang steam ay pupunta sa condenser. Dito na pinapalamig gamit ang cold water at nagiging tubig ulit. Yung tubig na iyon ay binabalik sa ilalim ng lupa sa pamamagitan ng injection well para ma-reheat ulit at mag-steam. So, yun lang, yung flow niya is production well to turbines to generator, then condenser, and then sa injection well. So, at babalik ito sa lupa. So, yun lang tuloy-tuloy na cycle para makagawa ng renewable energy.
So tapos na tayo sa unang type of geothermal power plant, geothermal energy, which is the dry steam. Let's now proceed to the second type, which is the flash steam power plant. For its working principle, it states here that flash steam plants differ from dry steam because they pump hot water rather than steam directly to the surface. These flash steam plants pump hot water at a high pressure from below the earth into a flash tank on the surface. The flash tank is at a much lower temperature, causing the fluid to quickly flash into steam. The steam produced powers the turbines. The steam is cooled and condenses into water where it is pumped back into the ground through the injection well. So this is from the Save on Energy ending. Here naman sa diagram, it states that hot water from underground is pumped into a cooler temperature flash tank. The sudden change in temperature creates steam which powers the generator. For us to understand it more, ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba nito sa dry steam plants? So unlike dry steam power plants harnessing steam at a very high temperature underneath the ground, this type operates less high. And ang major difference nito is ang hinaharness dito ay hot water. This hot water is from a reservoir. Sa madaling salita, sa dry steam, diretso ng steam ang kinukuha natin mula sa ilalim ng lupa operating at a very high temperature. Pero dito, mainit na tubig o hot water na ang pinapump natin paakyat sa surface with lesser temperature. Take note of that. Take note also that the hot water being used here is what we call brine. So, ganito ang process niya. Ang mainit na tubig mula sa ilalim ng lupa ay pinapump natin sa sobrang high temperature, sobrang high pressure papunta sa isang flash tank sa taas. Itong flash tank na ito ay may mas mababang temperatura kumpara sa tubig. Dahil sa biglaang pagbaba ng pressure at temperature, yung tubig ay biglang magpa-flash o mabilis na aakyat at magiging steam. Ito ring steam na ito ang gagamitin natin para paikutin ang mga turbines para makagawa or syempre makapag-generate ng electricity. At para hindi masayang yung steam na lumamig at naging tubig ulit, ay ibabalik natin sa ilalim ng lupa sa pamamagitan naman ng injection well para ma-maintain ang ating geothermal reservoir. Para sa susunod na slide, pagsamahin natin yung logic ng dalawang diagrams na ito. Para makita ang buong flow ng flash steam power plant, kung hindi nyo pa gaanong kuha or gets, i-explain ko. So tingnan nyo tong diagram 1. Sa ilalim daw ng lupa, mayroon tayong tinatawag na production well. Dito natin makikita o kinukuha yung brine o mainit na tubig mula sa underground reservoir. This hot water will either be converted into a steam or stay still as a water or tubig lang na hindi naging steam. This water is what we call waste brine. And this will go back once again at the production well and the process continues as a cycle. Sa diagram 2, makikita nyo yung separator o yung flash tank. Sa diagram 1, ito yung parang box with the steam sa taas, brine sa baba. Ito yung nagsiseparate sa hot water turned to steam and hot water not turned into steam. So as I said earlier, yung brine nito ay dadaan muli sa injection well, then babalik at magpa-process from the very beginning. But, kapag naman nag-flash na yung tubig at naging steam, akyat na ito papunta sa mga turbine. After that, the turbine is connected to a generator which is then again responsible for distributing electricity to the transmission lines. Pero, pansinin nyo yung flow ng steam. Pagkatapos nito paikutin ng turbine, kailangan itong palamigin sa tinatawag nating condenser. Yung condensed water at yung natirang waste brine mula sa separator ay hindi nga natin itatapon. Kung hindi, itutulak ito pabalik sa ilalim ng lupa gamit ang injection well. Itong cycle na ito ang dahilan kung bakit ang geothermal energy ay tinuturing na renewable at sustainable. Dahil binabalik natin yung tubig na kinuha natin para muling uminit sa ilalim. So take note that these types of geothermal power plants have the same output, which is the electricity, but operate at different processes only. And that's how a flash steam plant works, maximizing the heat from the earth to provide us with clean energy.
Good day everyone! We're diving into the last type of geothermal power plant, the binary cycle power plant, a very smart way to harvest geothermal energy. Based on our material, the main difference ng system na ito compared to others is that the water or steam below the earth never comes in direct contact with the turbines. Hindi siya katulad ng ibang power plant na yung mismong steam mula sa lupa ang nagpapaikot ng blades. Instead, the hot water from geothermal reservoir is pumped through a device called a heat exchanger. This is where the magic happens. The geothermal water transfers its heat to a second liquid, such as isobutene. Bakit isobutene? Because it has a much lower boiling point than regular water, so it turns into vapor much faster. Once the second liquid is heated, it turns into steam, which is the one responsible for powering the turbine that drives the generator to create electricity. So dalawa ang loop natin dito. Isang para sa geothermal water at isang para sa working fluids. After performing its job, the hot water from the earth is recycled back into the ground through an injection well. Malaga ito para hindi maubos ang reservoir sa ilalim. At the same time, the second liquid is also recycled. After it passes through the turbine, it goes back into the heat exchanger to be used all over again. This closed-loop system is very efficient and environmental friendly kasi pabalik-balik lang ang process and also zero emission tayo dito. This is how we utilize lower temperature geothermal resources efficiently to power our homes. The next one, let's take a look at this diagram of binary cycle power plant. To start our explanation, we have the geothermal zone deep underground where the heat is sourced. Ang process ay nagsisimula when the pump pulls the hot geothermal fluid up to true production well. Instead of using this fluid directly to the spin turbine, it passes through a heat exchanger. Dito sa part na ito, the heat from geothermal fluid is transferred to a separate working fluid. This is very important because the working fluid has a much lower boiling point than water. Kaya madali ito mag-vaporize even at lower temperature. Once the working fluid turns into high pressure vapor, it travels up to the turbine. The force of this vapor causes the turbine to spin, which then activate the alternator to produce electric current. After passing through the turbine, the vapor need to be cooled down para maging liquid ulit. This is where the cooling water from the cooling tower comes in. The cooling water absorbs the excess heat through the another heat exchanger and bringing it back to the tower to be chilled. Lastly, to keep the system sustainable and eco-friendly, the original geothermal fluid na malamig after heat exchanger ay binabalik sa ilalim ng lupa through injection well. This ensure na hindi nauubos ang resources sa ating geothermal zone. It's very efficient closed-loop system because the fluids are constantly recycled.
Now moving on, let's talk about the construction costs, some of the concepts related to the construction of the geothermal energy or power plant, as well as some of the disadvantages and advantages of it. So first of all, let's talk about the construction or the cost when it terms to construction. So first of all, meron lang tayong tatlong main concept or aspect na tinitignan dito, which is yung construction cost mismo o yung pagsasagawa ng mismong geothermal energy. So kasi pag ginagawa yung geothermal energy na to, it involves the drilling below the earth surface at a specific location where the underground itself
produce a superheated vapor or steam, or pwede namang water siya or gaseous material kung saan nagpo-produce siya ng high temperature. Kasi nga, kailangan natin yung para gumana yung mismong turbine, umikot siya, mag-rotate, and then thereby, gagana yung mismong generator, mag-produce siya ng electricity. So, mahalaga na yung involvement or yung pagsasagawa ng drilling process na to, which is considered 2 to 3 kilometer deep the Earth's surface. So, yung material na gagamitin dito or yung pipe na yan consisting of highly distinguishable materials. So, meaning lang nito, special material siya. Hindi siya yung basta-basta like plastic yung pinanggawa nun. Kasi kung plastic lang, hindi mo matutunaw. Or pwede namang like mga ceramic. Pero yung ceramic, possible na mag-crack. Something like that. So, ang pinaka-usual or often na ginagamit when it terms to construction drilling of a pipe sa geothermal power plant is yung carbon steel. Pwede siyang made up of carbon steel, especially with high temperature matters. However, pwede rin naman yung FRP, so fiber reinforced plastic. So, yun naman, pwede mo siyang gamitin pagka medium to high yung temperature na pinoproduce or yung nasa underground na kung saan natin i-construct yung mismong geothermal power plant. So, yun yung isa sa concept na tinitingnan dito, which is in drilling process, yung mga material or yung material na magko-consist or bubuo ng mismong pipe na yun, and as well as, syempre, yung time consumption or yung constraint sa paggawa nun. So, aside from that, yung construction, even though it is significantly higher, yung operational cost naman nito, on the other hand, are very low. So, when it comes to the operational cost, it is not expensive at all. Kasi nga, nagre-rely ito sa renewable source of energy. Ano ba ibig sabihin nun? So, meaning lang nun, kasi nga, di ba renewable energy yung pinagkukunan natin or yung pinagkukunan natin para mag-operate yung mismong power plant. Then, therefore, kahit ilang ulit pa yung cycle or yung period niya paulit-ulit, di na siya magkakaroon ng masyadong cost when it comes to the operational cost. Kasi nga, nagre-rely siya sa natural process of nature. So, gumawa lang tayo ng paraan para ma-harness yung energy na yun without altering the natural process of nature. Kaya naman, yung operational cost niya is significantly lower naman. Aside from the construction cost of the geothermal power plant or renewable energy, meron din tayo mga advantages ng pagsasagawa ng power plant na katulad nito or pagtatayo ng power plant ng geothermal energy. So, kasi pagka geothermal energy, meron tayo yung sustainability ng mismong system na to or ng power plant. Meron tayo yung consistency. So, meaning lang nito, yung consistency o yung pagpuproduce ng energy are consistent. So, pwede ka mag-rely sa kanya throughout the, say, weekly, daily, something like that. And as well as the, syempre nga, renewable energy to. So, ibig sabihin nito, renewable yung pinagkukunan niya or yung resources niya. Kaya naman, kung renewable to, pwede natin paulit-ulitin yung process indefinitely. And next one is yung more environmentally friendly. So, ano ba meaning nito? So, di ba, for example, yung coal na ginagamit natin sa mga power plant dati, or even though ngayon, sa contemporary world natin, gumagamit pa rin tayo ng mga coal, pero nauubos yun. In contrast, when it comes to the geothermal energy, hindi siya mauubos. Hindi siya basta-basta mauubos or kaya natin siyang i-renew throughout the natural process of nature. Tsaka yung pagpuproduce niya is significantly hindi naman siya masyadong time-bound or lengthy in terms of time in compared to the fossil fuel na ginagamit natin para makapagpatakbo ng ibang mga factory or power plants. Kung saan, di ba, pagka kasi coal yung ginamit mo, it takes a lot of time to make source or resources of the coal or yung pagkukunan natin ng coal. Kasi nga, hindi naman as in one day makakapag-produce ka na ng coal, di ba? Or ng fossil fuel. It takes time. So, yun yung advantages ng geothermal energy. Renewable siya. As well as, when it comes to the environmentally friendly, mas nalilesen yung air pollution kasi nga, yung steam na ipinoproduce nun is kagaya pa rin ng sa nature, which is hindi siya masyado nakaka-apekto sa natural process or sa paligid. Kaya tinatawag siya na environmentally friendly. And yun, another one is 24/7 yung output niya. So, ano yung meaning nito? Kasi nga, di ba, dinescribe kanina kung paano yung working principle ng geothermal energy. So, throughout the day, pwede mo siyang paulit-ulitin. 24 hours, 7 days, or 1 week. So, nako-cover up niya. Paulit-ulit siya. Through kada araw, pwede mo siyang paulit-ulitin. Kaya naman, 24/7 or 24 hours, 7 days. As well as, hindi siya dependent or independent siya when it comes to the weather condition or yung climate to that particular area. Kasi nga, hindi katulad ng mga wind turbine na kapag may bagyo, maapektuhan nito yung mismong turbine or yung blades na magka-catch sana sa wind. Kasi nga, yung naka-design dito, nasa particular wind velocity or may specific velocity lang siya na kayang i-handle. However, yung weather condition, di ba, syempre, lalakas yung velocity ng wind and therefore, lalakas yung force na kailangan i-withstand ng mismo mga blade. As well as when it comes to the tidal energy, kung saan gumagamit tayo ng pressure difference to create energy. So, nakaka-apekto yung weather dun. However, when it comes to the geothermal energy, it is independent of the weather. Kaya naman, ayun yung mga advantages or nakikita nating advantages ng geothermal energy. Lastly, we have the disadvantages of geothermal energy. Siyempre, meron din mga maliliit or significant disadvantages yung pagtatayo ng geothermal energy. So, ano nga ba yun? So, siyempre, di ba, dinefine kanina na ang geothermal energy are usually can be constructed along the ring of fire or kung saan merong hot steam reservoir na nalolocate underground. So, ibig sabihin nito, hindi lahat ng places ay pwedeng pagtayuan ng geothermal energy. May specific area lang kung saan natin pwedeng itayo yung geothermal energy. And with that, geographically limited yung geothermal energy. Yun yung isa sa disadvantages niya. Another one is, kaya kanina, associated with significantly higher or expensive costs upon construction. So, meaning, yung pera or construction cost niya is very high. So, yun yung isa niya pang disadvantages as mentioned earlier in the construction cost. And thirdly, we have the building region of the underground reservoir or yung hot steam. So, even though yung mga engineers, pwede naman talaga sila mag-construct ng artificial or let's say something like artificial na geothermal energy. In the context of engineering, it is impractical. Impractical siya kasi nga mas magastos yung magiging cost nito kumpara sa original or yung normal lang na geothermal energy, kung paano yung setup niya, paano yung working principle niya, even though kaya nating replicate yung mismong working principle as well as with the aid of artificial activities or artificial methodology. Yung mga materials, specialized materials, yung mga gamit, as well as yung time, overall, it is impractical. Kasi nga, di naman natin basta-basta makokopya yung kung paano yung working principle ng geothermal energy, as well as yung pagsa-setup ng mga underground reservoir, yung nagproproduce ng mga steam or superheated na mga water, nagiging steam, and so on. So, yun yung mga disadvantages naman ng geothermal energy.